It's fall, and I haven't done a video in a while because of circumstances of having a broken leg. But since it is fall, one of our favorite soups at our restaurant was a cream of pumpkin. It's a savory soup, and the first thing to do is to assemble all of our ingredients. This is a fairly easy soup to make. We're going to start off with one 16-ounce can of solid packed pumpkin, and then we're going to use a teaspoon of salt, 1/8 teaspoon of white ground pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1 can of undiluted chicken broth, 10 3/4 ounces, and 8 ounces of sliced onions, 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and at the end we will be using 2 cups of milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. First thing we're going to do is melt our unsalted butter in a stainless steel non-reactive pan. We're going to take and sweat our 8 ounces of onions in our unsalted butter until they are soft. And we're going to add a 1/2 tablespoon of flour to make a slight roux. While sweating the onions until soft, we are going to get a blender out, and we can use a hand blender or a regular blender. And we're cooking this over a medium heat. We don't want to burn the onions, we just want them to get soft. Now that we've softened the onions, we're going to add a 1/2 tablespoon of flour. Stir this up to make a little bit of a roux, and we'll cook this for 2 minutes to get that flour taste out of the flour. Now the onions have gotten a slightly golden color to them, but they're not like fried onions. We're going to let this cook for 2 minutes. Now that we've cooked the flour for 2 minutes, we're going to take and add our chicken broth to the pan. To deglaze the pan, we will then bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for 10 minutes. Now that our broth and onions have cooked for 10 minutes, to simmer, we're going to pour them into a blender. You can take and use a hand blender if you'd like. And be very careful when pureeing this in the blender because it is hot. When using a regular blender, if you take the center of the blender out and put a towel over the hole, and that'll allow for expansion and it won't splatter all over you and burn you. We're going to use a Ninja for this. It's not a huge amount of liquid. We're just going to take and puree it. And then we're going to take and pour it back in the pan. Now that we have that back in the pan, we're going to take our pumpkin, add that to the broth, and we're going to add our spices to that. So we've got salt, white pepper, nutmeg, and cinnamon. If you notice there's no sugar, this is a savory soup. And we're going to add ginger to this. Okay, we're going to whisk together the pumpkin, the pureed broth. We're going to add 2 cups of whole milk. We're going to whisk that in. We've added all the spices. So we're going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for 15 minutes. And that will be ready to serve. I've whisked everything together till it's smooth. And we're going to turn our burner on to medium, bring it to a boil. After simmering for 15 minutes on the stove, you can serve the warm pumpkin soup in a pre-warmed bowl, or you can take and hollow out a small pumpkin, take off the top, and serve it in a warmed pumpkin shell for a little bit of an authentic presentation. It should be topped with either whipped cream or Chantilly cream, which the Chantilly cream I'm not showing in this video, but it is a mixture of heavy cream, confectionery sugar, and a little touch of vanilla, and that adds a nice touch. And if you want, you can sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg or cinnamon on top of the whipped cream for a little added flair. And there you have it.